Today, I want to talk about the brutal reality of starting a rip and ship Pokemon business. So, I've gotten a lot of questions recently from people asking about tips and advice for their Pokemon business that they are starting, and majority of them are starting with a rip and ship type business, which I actually recommend because the profit margins are typically higher. If you tried to sell sealed product on eBay or TCG Player, you will get eaten up by the fees if you don't have good rates with your supplier and you've been buying for a long time. So I do recommend starting out with a rip and ship because your profit margins are typically higher. However, I think that a lot of people go into it thinking that it's going to be easy, that all you're going to do is start your show and there's going to be hundreds of people there buying your stuff for market price or higher. But people need to realize that this is reality, and the majority of the people that start, it takes a long time to build up. The number one tip that I can give for people that ask me is that you have to be consistent. Now, whenever I was doing the rip and ship, I would do a show every single night for 4 to 5 hours, and it was brutal because I have a 9 to 5 job. So I was doing a show right after my got off work for 4 to 5 hours, and then I would spend about another hour packing. And it can be brutal if you're, trying to grind this business. And I just wanted to make a quick video telling people that it's not sunshine and rainbows. It takes hard work, takes consistency, and it takes time, and a lot of time. So if you don't have a lot of free time and you're expecting to just be able to do a show like once a week for an hour and make a bunch of money, well, that's just not how this works, unfortunately. You have to be consistent. You have to have a somewhat of a personality, because if you're just like a robot, people are just going to move on to someone else. So, I mean, it's obviously highly competitive. And what I'm mostly talking about right now is Whatnot, because that's what I have experience with. But I think this could also apply to TikTok. The chances of somebody wanting to buy from you are very slim if you have no reputation, no sales, no viewers. So the main way to get people to buy is to have the best price. So obviously that minimizes your profits starting out. And also, you're going to want to do giveaways, especially on Whatnot. That is a huge way to build a following. And obviously, doing a giveaway, you have to pay for the shipping and the item. So that is a loss right then and there. I'm not sure how much more popular the giveaways are on TikTok, but on Whatnot, they are huge. A lot of the bigger shows do them pretty much every 5 to 10 minutes, I believe. And, you got to keep that in mind with your margins. I personally have toned back on my rip and ships. A lot of people have been following me on Whatnot, which I highly appreciate, but I just haven't had the time to do the rip and ships because, like I said, it takes a lot of time. You're live right then and there. You can't leave. You have to pay attention to your chat. You have to pay attention to anybody who's placing an order, and you have to be 100% engaged. So there's pros and cons to it. Main pro is that once you have an audience built up, you can have a higher margin because people are partially paying for the entertainment of ripping open packs and talking to people in your chat and all that good stuff. And people pay for immediate gratification, so they don't want to have to wait for their box to get home to their home to rip themselves whenever they can just pay a little extra and see what's in the box immediately. Another thing about the rip and ship business is when you're first starting out, you're going to spend a lot of time sitting there by yourself with nobody in your show. You will definitely run into times where you feel like you're wasting your time, and there'll be nobody at all in your show and you're just sitting there waiting for someone to join. One tip that I've tried before is have some loose packs to the side that you are planning on opening already. And I think it was Brian for Poke&E that actually said this. Have some loose packs to the side that you're planning on opening, and just open them whenever somebody joins. Or if you have a couple people that are just sitting there waiting, just open something so that way that people are entertained and they stay. Because keeping people in your show is the only real way to get sales. And you have to be entertaining, and you have to have something going on, because if you just think of it from the customer's perspective, you join a show and they're literally just sitting there not doing anything, maybe talking to themselves about random stuff, or not even talking to the chat. Well, more than likely you're probably going to leave and find someone else who's more engaging and actually has a community built up, because part of the premium that people pay for Rip and Ship is being part of a community, because they want to see other people's reactions to the pulls. Another thing to keep in mind if you are selling on Whatnot is that the majority of the people that buy on there enjoy singles shows. So if you have singles that you're planning on selling, make sure to have them to the side. You can show them to people as they come in. You can just have them on display so people can make an offer on them. And, that's just a large part of Whatnot right now is the single shows. So just remember that if you're going to be selling on that platform. And this video mostly applies to, like I said, people who are first starting out. They don't have a social media following, all of that stuff. And that's why it's important to try to build a social media following, whether it be on Instagram or YouTube. If you're on Instagram, try to make regular posts and reels about what you're doing. If you're on YouTube, they're really promoting Pokemon card businesses. So just video what you're doing, talk about it, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. And people will watch and follow along. And then I keep seeing a lot of new Pokemon card businesses starting up on YouTube, which is really cool to see. So if you're wanting to start your own, just keep in mind that it takes a lot of time. And it eventually will pay off, but you have to put a lot of time into the beginning part. It's not just going to happen overnight. Anyways, as usual, this video is sponsored by my website, galaxycardshop.com. Make sure to check it out. We got Japanese and English sealed products. And if you enjoyed, please hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.